Click on the box, then it's totally fine anyway. So, uh, right. Okay, so let's go. So, welcome to the Edinburgh Fitness Podcast, episode 16, with myself, Steve Smith. Before I get into this week's episode, just want to say thank you to everyone that's been listening so far. We're up close to nearly 500 downloads now, which is fantastic. And also just want to say congratulations to last week's like and share winner, which was Amy. I'll be in touch directly, Amy, for you to claim your prize. For those listening, don't forget to listen right to the end of the episode to find out the prize for this week. So, on to this week's episode. I'm happy to say I've got another guest on, a guest that I've known for quite some time. And this week's episode is all about shifting mindset. And I think this person does great work with it, a lot of experience in it. So I just thought he'd be a great guest to talk to. So let me introduce PT and life coach, John Young. How are we doing?
How we doing, my man? I'm all good.
Good, I'm good.
The prospect of doing this first ever podcast, if you like. I'm plenty of life. Sorry?
Outside your comfort zone.
Oh yeah, it is. I guess it is. I mean, first time doing it, jump on my 2 feet, see what happens, see what comes out, see what nonsense I come up with,
What can happen, eh?
Yeah.
If it's bad, I'll just not air it. I'll just be like, nah, that episode never happened. So
just chuck it. Just chuck it.
Right. Before we get going, do you want to give people a wee background about who you are and your experience and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, sound mate. Okay, so currently, I'm sort of like co-business owner of Edinburgh Fitness. So we basically look after people's fitness and well-being, through transformational camps, etc. So a large line of my work is kind of focused on business development and stuff there. Requires a lot of motivation and mindset, if you like. But on the side of that, I do things like hypnotherapy, life coaching, and NLP sort of practitioning. So I guess that's kind of where I'll start and how I kind of got into that. I started personal training probably about 10 years ago. And you've had Mike on a podcast before, and Mike was strangely enough my mentor as a PT. I remember coming in, seeing Mike, and Mike kind of put me on the right track, if you like. I was a level 2, and he always spoke to me about energy and how energy can get you, what you want if you apply it in the right direction, sort of thing. So that being said, kind of followed in Mike's footsteps again. I went into sort of management roles. He redirected me towards Pure Gym, where I obviously met yourself. Went from assistant to manager, and then kind of realised that kind of lifestyle of the management, sort of corporate, if you like, never really suited me. And then I got right into my own self-development, into life coaching, hypnotherapy, NLP, more or less to try and learn a lot more about myself. Through being on the receiving end of life coaching, first of all, before I started to, sort of relay that onto clientele. And I guess that's kind of what brings me here today, isn't it?
Yeah, it's awesome. And kind of lots of kind of things that we're going to talk about there, like you say, with your energy and your focus and all that kind of stuff. But why I thought this kind of episode was quite important and why you'd be a good guest is, if we look at something as simple, I say simple, but, when somebody wants to get into good shape, realistically, most people know what they need to do to lose weight. They need to exercise a bit more, they need to eat a bit healthier. They might not know the science about it, but they know it, but they don't do it. And it usually comes back to a mind shift and getting that mental focus right to achieve your goal and stuff like that. So that's kind of why I want to talk about it today. So before we kind of delve into it, just give people an understanding what life coaching is and what it really focuses on.
Right. So I remember sitting doing this with you one day, didn't we? Because we did like an initial session. And being able to put it in context without the picture in front of you. The best way to think about it is like right now, I would say, albeit I've kind of branched out into being out of my comfort zone by coming on to this podcast because it's the first time I've ever done it. We're ultimately in our comfort zone. We're in a place of comfort. If you look at life as it is now, you're in a place of comfort because you've ultimately got yourself into this situation where you start to develop natural habits and day-to-day activities, if you like. So we kind of classify that as a comfort zone. But on the inside, a lot of us have this desire to achieve more, bigger outcomes, etc. So what life coaching kind of does is it kind of helps you tackle a bit in between of being in your comfort zone and being able to achieve your desired outcomes, like almost like, without sounding corny and cheesy, and like, your wildest dreams, the stuff you thought you probably never do. I remember thinking when I was younger, I'd love to have my own gym and my own business, but there was a part of me that deep down didn't really believe in that until, I've experienced these coaching methods and stuff. So ultimately, that is what life coaching is. It's a journey where, through technically conversation and open-ended questions, where you find yourself through your own autonomy, the right answers, the right way to do things. It's your own blueprint, if you like. There's no structure or blueprint written out for you as a process and how to be successful. The answers are within you because everyone's life is different. So that's technically how the life coaching side of things would work, mate. Yeah.
Yeah. It's something I took away from when we done that day and stuff like that was, when you keep it all in your head and you're kind of battling it in your head, you don't really get anywhere because, like you say, the voice tries to keep you comfortable and, it's that kind of safety and stuff like that. And sometimes you need to get it out, and that's kind of what a good coach does. It kind of helps you coax it out and make you realise, what you can achieve and stuff. And obviously, for those that don't know, like, the kind of king of life coaching is Tony Robbins. And, when you look at his clientele and who he's worked with and stuff like that, it's not just a shock that people become successful and stuff like that. Is they have a goal and they work towards their goal and stuff like that. And that's what I got from life coaching, is just that bit of clarity and understanding that you can really kind of do what you want to do. It's just about mapping it out and finding the journey that works for you, as opposed to trying to copy somebody else's journey or stuff like that.
Yeah, 100%. You need, like, kind of what I was saying, you're right, there is a map, there's a map out, but within that map there's always some sort of barrier. Like, everyone has their own barriers, whether that's an anxiety of a situation, or whether that's having kids at home, or whether that's that type of work style or whatever they have. Each person is unique, and a lot of it is about sort of breaking down barriers, whether they're mental or physical or emotional barriers. A lot of it is about kind of getting into that nitty-gritty side of things, to stop you looking for that sort of external motivation factor. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, and that's it. So many folk look for that external motivation, but we all talk about kind of that fire inside, and that kind of that gets you through your kind of difficult periods and stuff like that. And one of the things I kind of took away from it was the questions you were asking me. When you look back, are probably such simple questions, but you can't seem to ask them to yourself, kind of thing, and it takes a bit of time and practice to build up that, and that's why obviously coaching, that's really an important aspect to kind of help you get through those barriers that you put up to yourself.
Yeah, it's a question. You don't ask the question. Technically, it's weird. The questions are on us, but we never really ask them ourselves. And then someone asks you that pivotal question. Sometimes there's one question that kind of changes that mindset. But the strange thing is the answer's always kind of been in you, but until you say it out loud or you say it to someone else, it never really has any perspective or any real meaning to it. Because at that point in time, it's just a thought that'll lead you in a direction. But until they kind of put it out there and you're like, holy shit, that's it. That's what I need to do. That's what I need to tackle. And that's kind of ultimately what kind of takes you to that next level of change.
Yeah, definitely, mate. That's good. That was 9.5 minutes before your first swear, mate. That was good.
I didn't realise
this. You've probably kind of already answered this, but what's the kind of first things you start doing when you're going about helping somebody kind of shift their mindset? I know it's quite a vague question, but
I guess it's vague, but it kind of leaves it open to many different techniques, I guess. So the first thing, the initial thing would be like it's almost like a consultation process, but I just call it a conversation process. And it really, for me, it depends on the person that I'm talking to. I'll try and read into the way, using NLP usually, and how they sort of relay a conversation so you can initially build a rapport and trust. You need that 100%. But, when I'm talking about, I demonstrate that circle, if you like, before that I kind of try to speak through. You learn, you have your comfort zone, your learning zone, and then your outcome areas. I generally relay that path of getting people to understand what coaching is, because I would never ask anyone to commit to something if they didn't fully understand it. But in some cases, people know what coaching is before their first session, and they'll come in. So I'll skip that part. I'll skip the life wheel, and we'll go into a conversation. And sometimes it takes a harsh reality question for someone to really think about it. So, without discussing anyone really, I had a client come in the other day, and we were having a conversation, and the conversation kept going, I'll come back to that bit later, I don't want to talk about that now, I'll come back to that bit later, I don't want to talk about that now. Now, as a coach, you pick up on these things and then you identify, well, this is your root cause to you not being able to work here. So I'd call them out and I'd say, well, if we had spared 20 minutes of talking about all this, we could have just identified right at this root, like, where do you suggest the root is? And they know, like, because you've been avoiding it for so long, you avoid it because it's hard to tackle. So sometimes it can go down that route, mate. It is bespoke to who you come across, I guess. Yeah.
It's like you say, is that person there is kind of, they know it, but they're just trying to hide it and hope it'll go away, kind of thing. And I see it a lot with PTs and stuff like that, kind of work with, and they know what they need to do, but they're too scared to do it, kind of thing. Is to like grow their business and stuff like that, and sometimes it's taking that kind of one-to-one to say, like, what have you done, or what are you willing to do to actually go out and achieve it, kind of thing. And when I had done the kind of mentorship that we were speaking about the other day and stuff like that, and it was just simple questions that you were getting asked, and like you say, it just triggers you because you're like, yeah, like, why am I not doing that? And I know I should be doing it, so how do I overcome that, kind of thing?
It does. It just kind of puts you on the spot, doesn't it? It puts you on the spot. Like, I reckon 90% of people that come to you for coaching, they already know what they want to achieve, right? They already know what they want to achieve. So you're not really helping them identify that. They just don't know how to break down the barriers. And it's the barriers that take time for them to almost confess or speak about or want to challenge. And when you say that simple question, when you have that simple question from it's Paul Watt, isn't it, that you were working with?
Yeah.
When you have that's just such a simple question, and you are looking at it and you're like, well, I'm not going to get here unless I actually do just deal with these barriers. Like, and now I'm in the best possible place to consider options on how to deal with these barriers. If I don't face them now, I'm going to be in the same place 2 years down the line, still wanting that same thing. But the only thing that's stopping me are these little barriers that I'm not quite ready to take, or I am ready to take. Yeah.
Yeah. He has a good line, and he's like, you have the life you're willing to put up with. And it's kind of like the work that you should do to get to where you want to be.
Yeah.
If you're not willing to do it, then this is your kind of reality, and this is your outcome right now. Whereas if you're willing to do the work, then things will improve, kind of thing. And it is true. It's like when you look at business, your body, whatever it is like you said, most folk know where they want to get to. They probably know how to do it, but it's the barriers and how they overcome it and meeting that head on and stuff like that. So we'll talk about some of those key words you were kind of speaking about there. So one of the big ones is energy, and that's kind of a massive one for Tony Robbins and all that kind of stuff. So what's kind of your interpretation of energy and how can people look at improving it?
My interpretation of energy, I would, when I think about energy, and I think about it as, let's say, how I used to think about energy, yeah, like the energy to do things and the energy to get up and go, etc. I used to think of energy as a motivational aspect, and I used to rely on energy from a lot of external factors.
Yeah.
And I remember I wrote a blog about that quite a while ago, of like, you know, where does your energy come from, sort of topic. But now I wrote another blog today actually based on motivation, and is motivation worthwhile? You know, is motivation the key, or is that a lie, basically? So I was kind of challenging the aspect of motivation. So I'll tell you about that, and then I'll kind of go on to how to then redefine that. So you...
Awesome. That was my next question, so you flipped it, so brilliant. Excellent. You read my mind. Genius.
Oh, there we go. So let's think about motivation for a while, right? And when we think about motivation, there's the words as well. Motivation, I call it basically, it's like an energy that comes from something related to an emotion. So usually these emotions carry negative connotations, yeah? So motivation can work in two ways. You can be motivated to do shit, sorry again, or motivated to not. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It works in two ways. Therefore, the energy that we provide based on what we do will manage which way your motivation is going to go. So, and as you know, like that, like based on emotions, emotionals are up and down. So is your motivation level is going to be up and down. So the main sort of triggers, and I say triggers of emotion, triggers of motivation, is because they're the things that kind of get you started. Always started on a journey. There's always a trigger somewhere, yeah, and that trigger is the emotion that's led to it. But the main emotions that you experience when you get to these triggers, I've actually got a list of them here. You've got anger, aggression, you've got hostility, hatred, even competition. How often do we use competition as a motivational factor, right? You've got fear, anxiety. Now think about this as positive and negative. Motivation to stop, motivation to go, yeah? Worry, pain, suffering, guilt, shame, unworthiness, envy, jealousy, just to kind of name a few. Now these are always, without a doubt, the trigger of motivation, yeah? And sometimes it's just enough. It's just enough to tip you over the edge. So you mentioned Tony Robbins already. He goes on a theory between pain and pleasure. Now you'll always be motivated towards, your actions, will always be motivated towards whether the pain or the pleasure outweighs one another. So does the pain of a negative situation become too much that it motivates you to do something about it? Or does that pleasure of that situation outweigh it? So it's all about trying to find that balance, right? Are you losing me here? Is this all right?
No, that's perfect, mate. This is brilliant.
So the way I see it is if we're allowing these emotions to lead us for motivation, what happens when that goes away? What's left? Where's the energy coming from then? And then what we actually sit and do is we wait, and we wait until the pain again becomes too much. that were then motivated to go again or start again. So when you think about it, I don't know, like PTs, we're both PTs, right? Let's put it in a client context, because I'm presuming a lot of like it's fitness podcasts. So everyone listening is either into fitness or is a personal trainer. So when you've had a client come to you, right? You've had clients come to you and they're majorly excited and they try super bloody hard for the first 3 weeks, and then they tell you they're lacking motivation, and sometimes they disappear, and then they'll come back again when shit hits the fan, or they're not feeling good, or like they've got to that stage where it's just enough is enough, and they say, I'm coming back and that's it, I'm ready to go again, like I'm going to do this different, I'm going to do this different, and it still doesn't happen because they're still relying on motivation as their tool of energy. Yeah, so with motivation, I think it's a great tool. It's a very, very good tool to get you started. But what happens in terms of energy when you get past that stage? How do you keep that energy going? Yeah. So strategies that I use are, I want to achieve something every day. Yeah. So by achieving things every day, small changes and having consistency. So consistency is a big thing. So if I'm consistently achieving things daily, I get a dopamine release, and there's my energy, and then you start to notice things change. You start to notice that you're getting more interaction with people. You're like, from a business point of view, that gives you another dopamine release level, working on simple things. And I can't remember what book this is in. Very, very simple, but as simple as making your bed in the morning. It's a task, it's a routine. If you complete that task, you get, it's a release of dopamine. Do you know what I mean? And that's motivation. Yeah, these are small doses of motivation to help you continue your journey. So if you have, from a client perspective or someone going to the gym perspective, that's why we implement tracking your food, tracking your workouts, little tiny things like that. Tag us in your workouts, let us know that it's happening, because they have a sense of achieving something, a sense of being part of something, and that helps them continue their journey. Getting a bit deeper into it, sometimes you have to go into the pits of hell to then discover what truly is your energy, what truly is the meaning, what truly is your purpose. And in order to do that, I believe that you really have to kind of just re-evaluate your values in life, and do they match your actions? And when you do that, you realise that it is actually your values that are your energy. So, like valuing family, like you're a family guy. Valuing family is my get up and go in the morning. So, a lot of people they value the family that much. Yeah, they get up and go. They make sure that they withhold their job and they keep working their job. Yeah, but does your values match you doing that job? If that makes sense. So, although you're getting one value right, are you getting the second one right? Are you actually happy? So, if you value happiness, are you happy in your job? No, but the value of your family is outweighing what you're doing in your job. So, you go periods of your life working in an industry or doing something that you absolutely hate because you value, having financial backing for the family, for example. So it's all about kind of this, like, lining up your values properly. How do they affect you? And really, really breaking it down. I guess that's where the beauty of coaching comes in, because trying to do that alone or trying to do that without sort of a lot of self-help books and stuff like that is really quite challenging. It's a hard thing to do.
Yeah, definitely. And I think you made loads of valid points there and stuff like that. And I said it before with your work and stuff like that, is you don't enjoy your work. It's very easy for somebody to say, well, go and find something you enjoy doing, but realistically that can't always happen. But you need to find a way to love it. So you need to associate it with something you love. And like you say, is your family values are important, and you go, this helps me get money to provide for my family, and then it starts not becoming that negative thing. I think it comes down to kind of building leverage. That's kind of what I've heard, and you're like you kind of say that you kind of work towards a purpose, and then you look back to build your confidence, and like you say, is for a client want to lose weight, their purpose will be, right, this is my goal to lose weight. And when you look back, they go, right, did I track my food today? Yes, I did. Did I send a selfie to John? Yes, I did. And then they build up that confidence that they create that motivation themselves, and it keeps running. And I think so many folk wait for something like motivation just to light bulb moment. And like you say, it happens and then it goes away again. Whereas you can create that momentum and you can keep it going by applying these things. And like you said there, I think the questions you ask yourself is powerful as well. It's like your one there was you want to achieve something every day. You wake up in the morning and you go, what do I want to achieve today? And then at the end of the night, you ask, what have I achieved? And if your answer is, well, I didn't achieve anything today, then you sort that shit out tomorrow. So that's the kind of the power of the coaching, I think, is to ask those questions, and the right questions that tie into, like you say, your values and stuff. And I kind of work off the four fundamentals of like your body, your business, your mindset, and your kind of families and your relationships, and making sure that they align with your values, like you say. So
yeah, 100%, because they're all important factors, aren't they?
Yeah, especially like you say, you're a family man as well. It's like, sometimes we look at Instagram and we see that guy with a six pack, but behind it, he's sitting at home, he's living in his parents' house, and his business is failing. And it's then you go, well, okay, maybe I said I wanted a six pack like his, but it doesn't line up with my values, because I then have to take away time with my family to focus on things like that. So it's getting that kind of round kind of everything in your life and finding what values are important to you, kind of thing.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt you there. It's very similar to like kind of how my journey got started into life coaching. I mentioned I got life coached before. Now, I was in a place where I valued hard work, because you learn that experience from parents and people around you. So I valued hard work a lot, and of course I valued family. But I remember there was a lot of things like I valued my time, I valued my friendships, I valued everything else. But in the first 2 years, my firstborn child being born, a lot of these values had to be sacrificed. Yeah, because the two that I thought were right at the time were hard work and family. But from a health perspective, I stopped looking after myself. I stopped seeing friends, because you invest so much time in these areas. And as a result of that, I'm sad to kind of say that had a major sacrifice on my family situation, because all I could think about, the only thing that would make family right would be hard work and bringing more money to put more food on the table or whatever. And if I didn't get coached and actually realised that one of the things that I should have valued at this point in time for me was time. I just didn't value time as much as I thought I did. And making that discovery was sort of life-changing for me. Like, the whole family situation flipped on its head. The money situation, the career situation, and just figuring that one element out was amazing.
Yeah, 100%. And I think something that I've identified over the last few years is still trying to identify why, but I just put emotions so far down, and I tried to control them, and I didn't really understand them, that they just got deeper and deeper and deeper. And then I basically kind of the only emotions I could really show was like anger or stuff like that. And then this little girl comes into my world, and she is my world. And then I was just I felt I was struggling to connect to her, because, like you say, I was committing time to her, but I wasn't getting that emotional connection. It was only when I started to identify my own emotions and stuff that I felt like we started getting closer, and then I started realizing that what people value and what I value is quality time. And as you know, there's a difference between just being with your child, say, and then spending that quality time with your child too. And like you say, when you kind of come from that same mindset that I had with you, it was like, right, well, the way I win my daughter's love is I'll work really hard, I'll have loads of money, and then I can, you know, provide her with loads of stuff. And it's like, they don't need that. What they need is you giving them quality time and actually being there for them. And that's something I've kind of really got through in the last probably year, maybe coming up 2 years now, that, you know, she is my value, and that's what I tie other things into, is having that time to work with her and be with her and stuff like that.
You mind if I ask you a wee question on that? Because it kind of ties
Yeah.
into what we're talking about again. How long did that period last before you realised that your anger and your probably, you know, that self-destruct mode was too much, that then you pursued this the coaching with Paul Mott?
Realistically, I think it's been going on most of my adult life. I think something I've kind of discovered is I always thought of myself as not that confident. And what I used to do was I would put myself in more uncomfortable situations because I thought that would bring out my confidence. But what a lot of the time it was doing, it was just pushing even more stuff inside. And then it would probably be, I'd say probably about 2, maybe 3 years ago was when something, like you say, I don't know what it was. I think probably tied in with round about the same time Madeline came into the world. Something hit, and it was like, you can't go on this path. You can't continue with this because you're pushing everyone away, kind of thing. And that's not what I wanted. I wanted to bring people in. So, you know, I went and I spoke to somebody and got kind of help, counselling help, and kind of, it was just an eye opener. And again, it was probably what we had when we had the chat. It was like, for so long I had never really spoke. I just kind of kept it in, and for some reason I thought I couldn't show people who I was. And then, you know, when I went to that first counselling session, I think for the first 40 minutes I hardly spoke. I just sat there. And then by the end of it, I couldn't shut up because I was just talking. So, like you say, it was just that trigger. It eventually just tipped me.
Yeah.
And then it was that kind of, it snowballed from there. I wanted to learn more and develop more. And then I was seeking out mentors and coaches and all this kind of stuff. So, yeah.
There was the reason I did ask that is just because it does reiterate that point that I was just talking about before. It's like how we relied on motivation. Now, this was a big thing for you because you needed enough motivation, so you had to experience enough pain, yeah, in order to make that change. Like you really needed that, and that's it. I just want to get your take, your story on that, just so like your listeners can kind of understand what I was trying to get at with that, and I'm so glad you mentioned it.
Yeah, and I think what people need to realise as well is sometimes is they need to look back and realise how long they've kind of felt like that as well, and not realise that, you know, like I felt like that for 10 years, 12 years. I'm not going to fix it in a day. Yes, I can get that light bulb moment, but then I'm working towards getting better. And well, getting better is probably not the right word. That's kind of not the right language. But it's a journey, and like you say, is that the quote I had the other day from John C. Maxwell, and it was like, growth is the only guarantee that tomorrow will be better. And it's like when you start getting that mindset, like you say, is I want to achieve something today, I want to do something today, and just keep working like that. Yeah. Then that's when you grow, and that's when you keep your motivation high, and that's when you move forward, kind of thing.
Yeah. See, you just mentioned, I've got quite a good metaphor for what you mentioned. If you've got enough time for another metaphor here, right? You mentioned that, you know, like it wasn't for the want of trying. When you like, you know, you were trying to make your family happy. You were in that kind of a state of mental health, you know, and you were pushing people away. You were saying you were pushing people away. Now, you weren't pushing people away intentionally. You were probably pushing people away by trying so much when you're working towards that change, if you like, or trying to understand yourself. So there was never an intention. And it was very much the same for me. I was in that I'd say a very, very similar situation before I experienced coaching. Now, here's one thing, right? See, when you, from a mental health perspective, sometimes, right, when it's so, and it becomes more apparent, it weighs you down, yeah? You're not kind of like chipping away at it or understanding it. It weighs you down. So just imagine like you had there's a big tree in your garden, all right? You've got a big tree in your garden, and you want to move that tree, okay? You've got a shovel, a spade, whatever you need, and you're digging and you're digging and you're digging, right? And you keep digging away, and you keep digging away, and then it takes a lot and a lot of hard work, right, before you kind of find the root of it, yeah? Now, the root, it's more of an NLP metaphor. The root of it always starts with a thought. So save all the digging and start with a thought. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
If there's no root, if you kill the root, there's no tree. Like, there's no annoying tree in the garden. You don't want to get rid of it. So if there's no root, then there's no outcome. Yeah. So in NLP, what they do is they work heavily. They work heavily on the initial thought process. So there's methods to remove thoughts, if you like, or stop the trigger of the thought happening due to past experiences or whatever you've had, which trigger the emotion, action, outcome. Or you work on ways of flipping the thought. So recognizing when that thought comes and then questioning the thought, which works really well for people as well. So if they question the thought, so I had one the other day, you know, I send my daily emails and blogs.
Yeah.
I had 200 subscribers, right? I had 200 subscribers, and I was like, shit, man, people didn't like this. First thought was like, people didn't like this. But I didn't think about the 8 to 9 people that had messaged me personally, which is a bigger deal. They took time out of their day and messaged me personally, says, I loved your blog today, touched by it, etc. And it's just recognising something, that one wee thing, that one little thought can actually set you on a different path, because I could have stopped writing emails that day. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In other words, I kind of like flip it, or try my best to flip it, look at the positive of the situation, or look at, right, it is only a thought, like, you know, what other ways are there around this?
Yeah, no, 100%. And it's when you start kind of realising people kind of are just doing the best for them, aren't they? So like you say, when somebody unsubscribes, it's nothing personal against you. It's just, it's either not the right time for them or it wasn't their content. And like you say, it's your perception of that as to how you respond to it. And if you purely focus on the unsubscribers, like you say, the consequences would be no more emails. But when you actually changed that and thought about it, you were like, well, there's eight other people that have said, you know what, loved your email. And like you say, that's actually a lengthier process to write back to somebody than to simply click unsubscribe. I mean, I had one. I had my complaint for one of my emails, and I was like, oh my God, I've got a complaint. What did I do? And then I spoke to Paul Mort, and he was like, if somebody puts in a complaint, they're just too stupid to find the unsubscribe button. And I was like, yeah, valid point. So I was like, forgot about it. In his kind of blunt terms. But yeah, it's amazing doing that. Have you ever done Byron Katie's The Works?
No.
That's a really good one for just kind of challenging your thoughts and stuff like that. And basically, she's got the book and the audiobook, and it's all about challenge, like questioning your thoughts and stuff like that. And she asks you 8 questions. It's got like an app that you follow, and it asks you questions. And again, they're just simple questions. But at the end, they just really get you to flip your perspective on things. And what she says is like, you're not looking for the right answer. You're just understanding the thought. So I had one. The manager in one of the units I worked in had sent me an email, and it pissed me off. I was annoyed. I was like, stop, like, looking in here and stop being nosy and get away and all this kind of stuff. And then I just done the questions, and the questions were like simply like, how do you feel when you think these thoughts and you write them down, and it's like, how would you be if you didn't think these thoughts, and simple stuff. And I can't really do it the works, the benefit it deserves here. But the last thing you do is you flip it around. So you write down what your initial thought is, and then she makes it flip. You flip it around, and then you realise that a lot of the time, your perception of things aren't reality, kind of thing. And it was when I actually looked back at my response, I was like, God, all she's doing is she's the manager of this establishment. She needs to know what's going on, and I haven't taken the time to inform her. Instead of me initially going, stop being so nosy, you'll know when I tell you, kind of thing. And it was just an eye opener to have it out in writing and go, hang on a second, Steve, I could be sitting here being really rude to this woman and really short with her and stuff like that, or I could just see what the reality is and go, right, okay. Yeah. All she needs is the answer. And it was, again, it's that, would you rather be right or would you rather be at peace, kind of thing, in an argument. And it's like, well, I'd rather be at peace, really. So yeah, it's an interesting one. So definitely journaling and thoughts and that are massive.
Like you say, like that sort of journaling thought processes, it's what you kind of do, right, is you bring your subconscious behaviours and thoughts to a point where you're consciously aware of them. Because you're always conscious of your actions. You're always conscious of your actions. But you're never really aware of where your subconscious actually leaded you in the first place to then do these actions. So half the time we're just pissed off at the actions that we've done. Yeah? Or we're upset or we're depressed or whatever, which is kind of that outcome of the action. And without realising what your thoughts are, you're never consciously aware of them. Therefore, you can't tackle them. And a lot of people are think they're consciously led. They try to look at that logical way of everything. And then they kind of get worked up because they can't figure it out, from a logical perspective. But, I mean, I think it's 80% of our actions are subconscious led, maybe higher than that. Are subconscious led. We do them without even thinking about them. And it goes the same way. Any emotion we trigger, any action that we do, it was a subconscious thought before it was a conscious thought, if that makes sense. So writing your thoughts down and journaling is one of the biggest tools that you can possibly do, because and that's why I blog. I treat it like a journal. Yeah. Because it gives you this sense of reality to your thoughts, and then you start considering more and more things and different things.
Yeah, no, it's definitely good, and your emails are good. Right, so I'm going to finish just talking more about more than fitness, because you guys are doing some phenomenal stuff over there and got a great wee community going. I say a massive community going. But one of your recent challenges I thought would be quite interesting. So you recently done your 24 hours on the assault bike.
Oh, mate, did you have to bring that up? I'm traumatised.
Have you recovered yet?
Recovered. Now, yeah, I've recovered. I wouldn't say I've fully recovered, because a recovered me would probably go and do it again. I want to do it again or whatever. But I'm still in that mindset of, hell no, never again. And I've been in it. I've had a few experiences like that with 24-hour events, before I used to race bikes for 24 hours, mountain bikes, and I did a team run for 24 hours once. So it wasn't a complete blind experience. But there's something just different about sitting on a static bike, especially one of these assault bikes, mate, because they're minging. You'll know that yourself. That it's mentally challenging. It's tough. You're going nowhere. Like, it is a definition of insanity, isn't it? Like, doing the same thing over and over again, but you're not going anywhere. So yeah,
like it watching eyes, it looked insane. But yeah, I mean that obviously shows you what mindset is and how massive it is. So talk people through your kind of preparation beforehand. How did you get mentally ready for it beforehand?
right. So you probably expect me to have this big preparation story of how I actually got ready for it. The truth is, we decided 1 week before that we were going to do it, and it all come about because of a run where I'd recognised if I wasn't actually thinking about my time in the run, I enjoyed the experience.
Mm.
Did that make sense? And it was the first time in 3 months I was trying to get back into running that I enjoyed the experience. So I went on, I did a Facebook Live, and then I started blabbing on about having goals. Like I set goals, and I mind having an element of grievance towards not hitting a certain target because I didn't apply myself enough in that area. I was aware of it, but I chose not to apply myself into that area. And I was trying to relate it to our guys that are doing this big isolation transformation. So I come home, I'm on the phone to Grant, and I was like, right, we need to do something big in order for me to feel at least like I put a lot of effort towards this thing. Is there something we could do? And then we just come out with this, let's do 24 hours on an assault bike, right? And it was like, something we hold close to us was obviously the food bank, which we raised the money for. We says, right, cool, we're going to do it for the charity for the food bank. And we're doing it next Friday. Without really thinking about it, we're doing it next Friday. We'll announce it, no time to then chicken out, sort of thing. So the sort of week goes by, and there's a lot of people talking about it, and there's people asking how you're going to manage it. And really, if I'm honest, I just try to put my mind off it ever happening. I continued to work on the other side of the business. I continued to develop content for our website. I continued to do everything else that didn't matter up until that point. And the reason I did that is because you probably heard this without sounding cheesy, is I kind of wanted just to stay in the moment for as long as I could, because if I gave myself enough of an expectation or enough anxiety towards the event, then I'm already creating a mental struggle, knowing that 24 hours was going to be a mental struggle, right?
And did you find your production levels went up in the other fields during that time because you were trying to shift it away?
Do you know what? It's something I never really picked up on, if I'm honest. If I was going on my energy levels were great, but was it the buzz of the fact that this was going to happen, or was it the fact that I was achieving so many things during it where my dopamine level was going up? I don't know, actually. I never actually analysed it to think about that, but my energy levels were good. I was never low. I can imagine if I had actually really, really thought about it, I'd be quite anxious about it, or I have a certain expectation. I'd be trying to over-prep, and then, I'd probably be annoyed the following week that I let business slip. Sounds silly, but I reckon that would have been the case. So getting there and actually doing the thing. Everyone asked me what was the worst part. The worst part was the first hour.
Yeah.
I'm terrible at heat, right? And it was the hottest bloody day of the year, wasn't it?
It was roasting, eh?
The unit itself's not air conditioning, so we normally just blast open the shutter, which is absolutely fine. But we had fans, and of course the assault bike's got a big fan on it anyway, right? So the first hour, there's a skyline, and my bike's right under the skyline, so it was beaming through the glass on me. And I'm terrible at heat, and I was thinking to myself, all I could think about is I've got 23 hours left of this. 23 hours left of this in pure heat. So I lived on ice lollies and slush puppies, basically. We had these fans going. Now the trick is, with the assault bike, in order to generate enough air with the assault bike to cool you down, you have to work hard. But in turn, your body temperature raises, so you're sweating like mad. So it was one of these things. Now, from a tactical, motivational point of view to get through it, I would safely say I never once, after that first hour, thought about how long I had left to go. I tried everything, very similar to the run, to take my mind off what I was trying to achieve, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
and then break things. It was almost like breaking it down into segments or distractions, if you like, almost distracting myself from the reality in order to achieve it. Was, I'm going to be here for 24 hours. I can watch every minute on the clock, or I can play games with myself, technically. Now, the first 5-6 hours, we had visitors coming in, we're playing up to visitors, and we're sprinting on the bikes, etc., and we're interacting with people on the social media. And then what I was doing, again, I'm using this whole dopamine thing just to give me a wee energy spike every now and then. Is every time I had burnt 1,000 calories on the bike, I would mark it off in my book. So I started just counting calories, and I knew that 1,000 calories wasn't that long away. It was more or less an hour and a half on these bikes. So every time I did that, but then when that seemed to be taking too long, when I was tired, I ultimately changed my focus to working on every 5 miles on the bike. So I had this process of working on every 5 miles. So every time I was like at 5 miles, I was like, yes, this is good. Then we got halfway. And when we got halfway, I was aware of the world record. So there was a world record sitting there for the grabbing, and I was ahead of the world record if I was to double my performance. So I'm like, now, how can I hit this world record? It'd be a massive achievement if I hit this world record. And how can I hit this? And I stuck with that 5 mile sort of mindset every time. So every time I did 5 miles, I would do something that was almost rewarding. Like I would get a drink of juice, or I would take on the ice lolly or slush puppy, or if I needed to go to the toilet, I was going to the toilet then, quickly. And towards the end, it came every 5 miles. I would reward myself with getting off the bike, stretching my leg for 30 seconds, and straight back on before the clock went out. And then in result, the time flew in, and we had achieved and exceeded what we ever really expected.
No, that's class. I was listening to the other Smith, James Smith, not as big as me. He had his podcast with Ross Edgley, and Ross was speaking about his swim around the UK, and he done the exact same thing. All he done was he broke it down to six miles. He done each time. It was at 6 miles every 6 hours or something. And he was like, if he thought about the whole journey, he would never have done it.
Yeah.
So he had to break it down to those little sections, and it just shows you like what humans are capable of when they get their mindset right. I mean, you read David Goggins' story and all the mental shit he does and stuff like that. It is massive, and kind of the big things you probably done there. You set accountability when you told people about it. You then put that accountability on yourself that you didn't want to let them down, and then you created that leverage as well that you were doing it for a charity and you didn't want to feel that you were letting people down, and that's set you up for going. And then, like you say, it's those little hits that you get as you tick off things as you go through that challenge. If you'd sat there on the bike and went 24 hours, 23 hours, 22 hours, 21 hours, it would have just broken you. So as an awesome achievement. So well done, my man.
Thanks, mate. Thanks. I mean, yeah, it was great. It was great. It was a good experience. It was amazing to do, like, where I regard as my best mate, Grant. Sitting like virtually side by side. He's going through pain. I'm going through pain. It was a nice experience, and it kind of showed, like you had mentioned, our community, and it kind of showed our community worth, because we were overwhelmed with visits, food, donations. We met people we never met, and people went out their way to get us special mentions on the radio. We ended up getting mentioned in Scottish Parliament. These things are just amazing. And as I spoke about my goal, and I told you I'd lost focus. Now, my goal was a number, and it was a number on our Facebook following page. And when I think about it, we still never hit that number. But the exposure and difference, not just like just from applying something big or having a goal bigger than something that was mediocre, became surreal, really. Like, if we had hit the number of followers I was expecting, we'd still be in the same situation, just with a few more eyes on us. But now, we're in the eyes of the government, technically, for something that we've done, which is amazing. And it was Grant Cardone. And Grant Cardone triggered that in me by reading the 10X rule, just about setting your goals massive that almost that you think are unachievable. And 24 hours on an assault bike, I thought was almost unachievable. And you'll be amazed at what you actually achieve in the process.
Mate, it was phenomenal. It was brilliant. So I won't take up much more of your time because it's been a phenomenal chat. We probably could do another hour or so, I think, from some of the knowledge you've dropped there. But before you go, do you just want to give people a wee heads up where they can find more information about you and things like your daily emails and stuff?
Yeah, sure. So you can subscribe to my daily emails if you just DM me on Instagram at @dashmorefitness. And you can check out our website where we do isolation transformation, which is www.mtf-home.com. Find everything there, guys. And thanks very much for your time, Steve. It's been awesome. I'd love to do it again.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. I think, like I say, there's more we could have spoke about. So I'd definitely love to have you back on. So, guys, that's the end of episode 16. Hope you enjoyed it. Remember, listen out for a little bit after this to hear how you can win some prizes with me. Okay, thanks. See you soon.